name's Fatima. I'm coming to you from Richmond, BC, and I'm here to help you build your immune system.
Hey, I am Fred. I am a chef, and I live in North Vancouver, BC.
Hi everyone, my name is John, and I'm a dad to 2 great kids, and I'm in Vancouver.
Hi, my name is Cyrene. I used to live in Vancouver and moved to Toronto for the last 9 years, and we travel back and forth. And now I'm back in
Welcome
Vancouver.
everyone. Thanks for joining us. We are here now doing our next set of series. Hope you guys enjoyed our first series. And if you have any questions, just remember, put them in the comments below. We're always here to answer your questions. So I'm Fatima.
John.
And Fred.
Cyrene.
Excellent. So, you know, everybody has been now working at home, but what was it like for all of you guys before coronavirus? What was it like for you guys?
Quieter.
Wider?
Quieter.
Quieter. Okay. Why do you say that?
Well, usually I work from home anyways, but because of what's happening now is that my family's home with me, and my wife's home working as well. She's working from home.
So you mean quieter?
Well, yeah. Before, it was just me at home, or I'd be out and about, meeting people and going to different meetings, whether it's online or in person. So it was just me. But now, because we're at home, there's more people in the house. We're still having to carry on through our 6 to 8 hours of work, and I think the intermingling of everyone at home is a little bit different than, it's just different. It's different. It's much more. We got to tiptoe around one another. But before I was free to just leave the house, make Zoom calls without having to worry about people walking in. Eating when I need to versus eating with the family. Things like that, just things like that where you were just more able to just have your own schedule. Now I have to be scheduled around the family.
Fair enough. What I liked about it before is that I could do my work at home in the quietness.
Yep.
And then 1 p.m. we got into the habit, my son and I, that I would go pick him up at school, and then we would go to the gym together for like 2 hours, and at 3 o'clock we come back home and he does his thing and I go back doing my own things and work, But we lost that now. Oh well.
And you, sorry?
Well, before I started working from home, I actually was working at a dental office, and I didn't like working in a stressful environment, and I didn't like the fact that I couldn't have time off when I wanted to, or ask for a raise. I felt like I was always begging. And then I decided that I was going to work out of home. And what was interesting was I had that notion on a part-time basis that I was going to work out of my home. And then when I started working, I appreciated the fact that I don't have that much stress. But right now, I appreciate it being quiet and doing things on my own time and being more flexible. And now that during COVID, my husband is around, and it's actually affecting my flow of things.
Yeah.
We have a small place, so it's like, oh my God, where are we going to be? The bathroom, the kitchen, the bedroom. It's just, we're in each other's space all the time.
Oh yeah, I bet. And then, so for people, who have been going to like their 9 to 5s are now all of a sudden, like they had to travel to work, they had to, do their meal prep, they had to do so much stuff. And now because of that, their freedom, now they're sort of stuck in home. Like I know I was affected because I was working at a medical clinic. And so that meant I had to go into the clinic. If I didn't go into the clinic, I wouldn't get paid because I wouldn't be able to help, people check in and whatever. And so, but having to be able to have the freedom to work and do whatever I want is amazing, because I can get up whenever I want. I can wear whatever I want. No one's going to tell me, hey, you got to dress a certain way. You got to talk a certain way. You got to act a certain way. So there's going to be a lot of industries have been affected. I know, Fred, you were a chef. So what would have been like for you post-COVID or pre-COVID, I should say?
What I liked about working from home after being a chef and before COVID is that I was able to give more time to my kid. That being a chef, I didn't when he was really young. And I wish I started that when he was really young. Because when he was really young, he was mostly with Debs because I was at work, AM, PM, weekends, Mother's Day, Christmas, you name it. The hours were long, and working from home allowed me to, spend more time with him and even pick him up at school, dropping him off. Like I said, going to the gym, you know, at whatever time when he's ready, because I can, and allows me to build a better bond, father and son, than if I would be just constantly working for somebody else.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. Like, I know, John, you were working with the city, right? So how would that have played out for you?
Well, it'd always be rushing. I'd always be rushing to drop off my kids to school because there were two, at that point when they were younger, they weren't able to stay around at the school early because there's no people watching them. There was no, I guess, school ground monitors. So I would have to stay as long as I could until I start to see the teachers and other parents and other students go in there so that I feel comfortable leaving them there by themselves because they weren't allowed to stay inside the school. They would hang out inside the school. And plus I wouldn't be able to see them. So that was kind of, scary, I guess you could say, because, you never know where they are. So I stayed as long as I could and I'd have to rush to work, park, get into work. And then my wife Nancy would pick them up after school, so I would not see them. So the time, like what Fred was saying, the time spent with them during the early years, I regret not having that because I missed a lot of things that I could have been at. But now working on my own, working from home, I am able to, chaperone when I can on field trips, take part in school functions, help out at the school, volunteer when I can. I'm one of the only dads at the school that hangs out once in a while.
So am I.
Yeah, so and people ask, like other moms would be there, hey, why are you here or what do you do and stuff. So it's a good conversation starter. But that's the one thing I missed out on is their early years. But I don't miss, of course, my coworker. I mean, I miss my coworkers and I miss that environment and there's give and take on both. But you still can't replace having, like what you said, Fatima, is having a time where you control a lot more of what you can and what you don't want to do, right? So
that's right.
And so for you, Sareen, I know both you and I don't have any kids, so we can't exactly relate to John and Fred in that sense, in terms of kids. But what have you noticed that when you were working, for someone, what did you notice that you didn't have the time for, or you couldn't, do?
When I was working at the dental office, I worked 9 to 5. I barely had lunch. I would then try to fit in a nail appointment afterwards, or I'd try to get my hair done, or I had lack of time for exercising. And then when I would come home, I would try to just make a good meal, healthy meal for my husband and myself. And then we only had a couple of hours to get comfortable and chill out, de-stress, and then do it all over again the next day. And I didn't like that. I didn't like going into a stressful environment every single day and taking my work home with me, which I should have left at work. So I really, really appreciate the fact that, when I was given a part-time job option, like working from home, I was looking into it and I was very happy about it, but I never had the time because every day was such a, I felt like a rat on a treadmill, just trying to get my day going. And unfortunately my part-time job didn't start going until much later.
Yeah, so that you definitely, as you can see, like there's definitely things that you are giving up when you are working full-time at for someone else. I mean, not only are you trading your hours for money, but you're also trading your time as well. So that means that leaves you hanging to do the things that really matter, spending time with family, spending time doing, the things that you love. Like I know when I was working at the airport, it was like shift work and it was insane. In the first 3 months of me ever working at the airport, I put on 90 pounds. 90 pounds in 3 months. Yes, whoa, that's a lot. I know.
It's impossible.
Oh no, it's not impossible because it was a very toxic environment, number one. Number two, I'm standing on my feet all the time and you have 100 people on top of you like, oh, you're doing this wrong. You need to be checking this. You need to be doing this. And you have passengers yelling at you. You have airlines yelling at you. You have everyone just constantly.
Very stressful.
Very, very stressful. And then, you get a limited break, but you don't even get time to actually eat properly. It's like you have to chow it down because by the time you're done your break, you have to go to the other end of the airport. So it's like literally you're chowing down your food. So you're not really properly digesting it. And then you're treated like you're just a number and, you don't matter to anyone. And so I definitely do not miss that because now I know that one, I've been able to control my health. I'm much healthier. I get to spend time with my loved ones, my family, and, and I get to do what I enjoy rather than having someone telling me, hey, you need to do this at this time. Oh, you didn't do it as per my instruction.
Was it good money at least?
For that time, yeah, it was. I mean, I was still a student at that time. So I was making, by the time I left, I was making about $22 an hour.
That's good.
Pretty good.
It was good at the time. But I mean, for what we were doing, it wasn't good. Right?
Yeah.
Like, sitting there having to put up with everyone's like garbage, you get tested, you have spot checks, and then you're rifling through everyone's dirty laundry. Like literally rifling through their dirty laundry. And then you have people, swearing at you and chucking things at you. Is that really worth my time? Is that really who I am? No. And I've noticed that once I left that airport and left the fact that it was 9 to 5, things just changed. Things just opened up. I became this person who, was always into discovering more. So that's what I think working from home allows you to do, is to be able to bring everything together, encompass everything. Any last words on working from home before COVID?
Yeah, actually, one thing I didn't point out was during my parents are getting older. And so, there's times where they need to call me because they're only a few minutes away. So they're not in a different city. They're actually about 5-minute drive away. But, there'd be times where they need to call me up to bring them to appointments or to go with them because their English isn't so good. So I need to go with them to listen to what the doctor's saying so I can explain to them how to manage their health afterwards. And, I would have to take time off work to do that. And, and there's sometimes big meetings I need to be at, or there's got to be things that I need to complete. And it would take into that time. So you're trying to balance, I need to do this, but I also need to do this. And so, but this pays me, this doesn't pay me. What's important, something's got to give. Mm-hmm. And that brought onto the stress as well. So, I was getting sick getting sick because maybe it was the pressure. I don't know. So, I think now, I've been taking my dad to doctor appointments, checking in on them. Of course, not now, keeping my distance, but I mean, I'm able to do that and not have to take half a day off, or to have to arrange for my kids, also because because I get off work around 5 o'clock, 5:30 before, I miss a lot of after school events for them. Mm-hmm. They have sports, they have performances, they have teacher parent conferences, which I wouldn't be able to go to, only my wife would. So, it may not seem a lot, I know a lot of parents work as well and they can't do those. But to me, it really was something that I value. So it was something to me that I was losing that and I didn't want to continue doing that. So yeah, that was just something that, that was a big eye opener, is that I'm there for my parents and for my mother-in-law.
And it's funny, it reminds me that when, after I was not a chef anymore and I started working from home, I was able to, my son was taking Taekwondo classes, and I was able to stay and watch the whole class. And I was always the only parent there.
Cheering
Every
on.
session, the only parent. And I could see how happy he was to see me there.
Yeah.
Even the staff would be happy to see that at least a parent is able to stay, because all the other parents has to drop off, go do pick up groceries, or go take care of this, go take care of that. And I could schedule that time for him then. And it's precious time, and I remember it. And
I think that's important, Fred. Exactly. You see the look on your kid's face when they turn and they see you sitting there watching them, especially when they were babies, right?
Yeah.
Because I know, like what Fred's saying, a lot of parents I see on classes, they drop off because they have to go back to work and they'll come back, or they have to go outside to work in their car. That is not, I'm not criticizing, but I'm just saying, it's the involvement of that. You're just sitting there watching them. You could be on your phone, which I try not to be, but you're just watching them, because eventually you're going to forget that too, right? I want to remember how my daughter in ballet, my son taking his first swim class, they're both on the rink skating, taking the jiu-jitsu classes. That's things that you want to remember. And it's not with a single snapshot or them telling you, it's experiencing it, right?
Yeah.
So the experience, that's the word, experiences. How much of an experience are you going to savor from working in different format, whether you're in an office or working from home or working remotely? The experience of you being able to enjoy life on different levels is going to vary depending on how your work is going to be constraining you, right? So
that's so well said. I remember there were times where my mom was always at, most of my events that I had. And maybe once or twice my dad came to one of my performances, and then and it does stick with you. You do remember that, my parents were both there cheering me on or whatever. And it leaves the child with a sense of confidence as well. So it's actually a ripple effect. We don't realize it, but it is a ripple effect, because, if you're having to work outside 9 to 5, probably 7 to 7 because of travel time and whatever, but you're missing out on all of these things, but then you don't realize how it affects the child as well, right? And I'm pretty sure, and I've seen pictures of both John and Fred having a great time with their kids, and those are memories and experiences that both you and your child are gonna carry forward forever. That no one can take away.
That's the one thing that I remember. Even as far as I can remember, I remember when I was 5, 6. I don't remember what it was. I still remember my dad sitting in the bleachers watching us take swim lessons.
Aww.
Right? That was in Saskatchewan, in a community center. I think it was YMCA. But my brother and I were in the pool, and first when you take swimming lessons, you're scared. You're jumping in. Our instructor told us to just jump right into the deep end. I remember that. That's why I was scared of water. But he said, walk at the deep end, just jump in. And so that's how I overcame my fear of water. But my dad was sitting in the bleachers. So, you remember that. I don't remember everything about my childhood, but I remember my dad, teach me how to ride my bike in the back lane at 7. I remember him, our walks at nighttime under the prairie sky, things like that. So that's what I remember. So that's what I want to kind of instill on my kids, that, you got to make time, right? You got to make time. And sometimes work does get in the way, but I think that it's important to block off those times. Even if I'm not saying working at an office is bad, but you do need to make time for yourself, make time for your loved ones, and for your kids especially, right?
Yes, definitely very, very important. Anyways, Sareen, did you have anything to say before we close?
Yes, I just wanted to add, when I stopped working at the dental office and started working from home, I started going back and forth to Toronto every 3 weeks. And what was important for me was I was able to work out of my computer anywhere. So I was working out of home from Toronto. I was working home from Vancouver, and I had the flexibility And really, really, I appreciated that because of the fact that there was 3-hour time change and I could work on when I was up and productive. It meant a lot to me, and I just appreciate everything it has to offer.
Yeah, that's excellent. Well, thank you very much. That was great. We had some great conversations here. Well, stay tuned for our next video. Signing off. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.